Hey guys, what's up? I'm Jacob Kaufman. I'm there to the street. Before we start today, I'm sick, so before you go commenting while he's talking weird, feel bad. So today, since I didn't get a video out last weekend, even though I did record a few, I never uploaded any, I thought I might as well share this with you. This was a research project I presented in English today, and I basically researched the effects of wireless technology on health. The assignment was just to pick either a question-based or service learning topic, and yeah, research it and present some sort of media presentation as well as a written paper. Obviously, it's English. So yeah, this was a school assignment, so sometimes my YouTube assignments can be higher quality than school assignments, but, you know, like I said, I didn't get a video out last weekend, so I'll share this with you. So before I start talking about health, I'm going to give you a bit of background on how wireless technology works. This is common knowledge. You can pretty much look this up anywhere. Wireless technology sends radio waves containing signals, and yeah, that's what radio waves are. They're waves of radiation, and I'm not going to go into the physical details about what the radiation is per se, because you're on a tech channel and not a physics channel. But yeah, in principle, cell phones and Wi-Fi both do the same thing. They send waves. They send radio waves, yeah, and it's radiation. Now, cell phones and Wi-Fi are the same thing. I remember one of the issues when I first started this project was my teacher wanted me to pick between cell phones and Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi actually stands for wireless fidelity, or some similar word. But yeah, my teacher wanted me to pick between those two, which isn't really something that would have helped. Because cell phones and Wi-Fi do the same thing. They both send the same radio waves. I've actually, I'll have the slide up on the screen, and I'll edit in some arrows and stuff. But yeah, they're very close together on the electromagnetic spectrum, and they both do use the same electromagnetic waves. That is why I say they are the exact same thing. The reason why you hear a lot more about cell phones causing health problems than Wi-Fi is because Wi-Fi is over a small distance. The last time I checked, it was like 30 feet. I know that they've gotten way farther than 30 feet now, but yeah. Cell phones, obviously, they have to send waves all the way to some cell phone tower like 30 miles away. I'm not sure the actual distance between the average cell phone user and a cell tower, but yes, that obviously goes a lot farther, and the cell phone waves have to be a lot stronger in order not to die out between you and wherever they're going. I'll mention right away, yep, just some basic physics. Waves are measured in frequency, so the waves to the right of the picture I'll be showing you, so those go slower and they die out quicker. Like, you need a whole lot less resistance to stop them. As we get into the higher radiation, that goes through more. It goes through more bricks and more walls, whatever happens to be in the way. It hurts you more. And I say it hurts you more because it's already been established that electromagnetic spectrum waves can hurt you. Ultraviolet light, that's right above the visible spectrum, that's what gives you sunburn. X-rays, obviously, if you've ever been to the dentist, they always put that big sheet on your chest that has lead in it when they're x-raying you. I always wonder, if my brain's up here, why is the lead down here? The visible spectrum, yep, same kind of principles as the light we see. In terms of hearing, it's sort of the same, but not electromagnetic. So I'm not going to even start going into that. But as you'll see, the dot, Wi-Fi, cell phones, Bluetooth, and XM radio all fall in the microwave category. Yes, that is the microwave that cooks your food. Usually that's a bit higher towards the infrared, which actually, just an interesting side note, I'm sorry, I'm doing way too many side notes, I know. I also learned this was all in computer class, but infrared, there actually were infrared data transfer devices, like you'd have like a sort of flash drive slash cell phone, iPod type thing that you would actually hold up to an infrared sensor on a computer, and it would have to be like very, very short, like within a few inches, but it was very fast. I think that would be really interesting. Somebody should bring that back. I'm reading off the PowerPoint notes here, so I didn't have a lot of time to practice. It's Tuesday. Alright, what are we doing? Alright, now there are plenty of people who are concerned about wireless technology's health effects, and there are two main issues that keep a straight answer from existing. Firstly, there is a huge lack of research on the subject. It's probably due to the fact that people haven't been using wireless for that long. Not more than a few decades. I know it's been around for more than a few decades, but I mean, it really hasn't been in use by the general public for more than a few decades, definitely. Even when those big, really big cell phones first existed, it was like when the really huge computers first existed. Even though that technology existed, everybody on the block didn't own one. The past few decades, though, like I said, we've gotten smaller wireless devices. This is like every single episode, every single video I do, there comes to some point where I reach for my phone, and then I'm recording with it. Obviously, my cell phone is very small. Computers are small now, so that's why we have them now. So yeah, a lot more people use stuff now. But yeah, the wireless, I'm spending too much time reading from this. Wireless devices are not that old, and because of that, we haven't had time to do experiments on them. It's not that we've been choosing not to, it's just that before long-term studies can exist, the thing has to be around for a period of time that could be considered long-term. For example, the World Health Organization, or at least a branch of that organization called the International Agency for Research on Cancer, they just released their first 10-year study on cell phones that I'll tell you about in a minute, but they just released that 10-year study, the results of that, just a few years, it was like 2009. So obviously that was a 10-year study. It took that specific organization 10 years to do, and if they want to release another 10-year study, it's going to take them another 10 years. So that's what I'm talking about. There, you know, the whole time-space thing really does constrict one. You can't do more tests on something than you have time for, any more than you can fit any more things in a room than you have space for. Now, I have these quotes. I don't usually do quotes. I don't usually cite my sources in these videos either, but I'm going to now because I really don't want to touch this up. I'm just reading you the raw stuff from my school assignment. Dr. William Curry, a neurosurgeon at Massachusetts General Hospital, said that there's not enough data that you should be worried. That's probably the most controversial part of the whole topic. Controversial? I mean, yeah, there's not enough data that you should be worried. That's really a matter of opinion, because, you know, some people would assume that things are safe. You know, I can't see any danger right now, just I'm not going to think anything of it until it's proven. Me, I'm a bit more of a conspiracy theorist. Bilderberg Group, for one. Let's see, the Theodore, was that the, I can't even remember which president was assassinated in the car, you know, anyways, some people don't just take safety for granted, and I'm not trying to be one of those. Right in the middle of the recording right there, I got a phone call about computer repair, which are always welcome. It just takes me forever to start recording again. Right, so, yeah, that's a matter of opinion. Do you think that if there's no data at all on the subject, do you think that it's worth it taking that risk to use something? You have no idea how it works. You do know it's convenient, but you don't know if it's hurting you or not. Like I said, that's really a matter of opinion. You can leave your opinion in the comments if you want. So, yeah. Existing studies, though. What we do know, or what we think we know, what we might know. Some studies have been conducted on the health effects of wireless. However, there seems to be a trend in place. Shortly after a study on the topic by a group of people is released, it's subject to tons of ridicule from individuals in the scientific community. Basically, an organization releases a study, and then some expert goes out and calls them out and says, you're totally wrong. I wouldn't be one to judge which one is actually right. It's just something I noticed. So yeah, the World Health Organization did conduct their study called Interphone, and I've never heard of naming studies before. That's pretty cool. They actually found something pretty darn scary. They found that if you talk on the phone 30 minutes a day over a 10-year period, you have a 40% chance of developing glioma. Is that the right word? Yeah, glioma, brain tumors. You have a 40% higher chance of getting brain tumors, and I assume that means cancer. But yeah, so that's obviously something, you know, that was, what I had cited was a quote saying that these results were downplayed on the grounds that people don't use their phones that much. My mom does not know how to get to the recycling bin in Windows, but I know that on average she talks on her cell phone for 30 minutes a day over the course of a year. Now granted, she is, you know, a personal trainer, she's got all kinds of clients calling her and stuff, but, you know, I'm sure we all know someone who talks on their phone at least that much. Not to mention some other stuff I'll mention once I've gotten through my PowerPoint here. Now, as I said, there are some experts who actually argue against the validity of these results. Obviously, if all it was nobody uses their phones that much, then there would be warnings out not to use your phone that much. There are arguments against the validity of these results, but, you know, as of right now, we're just kind of going on this stuff, or I am in my paper. There are a few more problems that have to be considered as well. First, these safety standards in place right now, set in place by people like this, don't really have much effect. They're not really that effective. They are based on the notion that only radiation strong enough to create measurable heat can hurt you. And that's basically saying, well, I just said what it was saying, so just moving on. Also, we've already deployed this technology. If we were to say that, if it was proven 100% without a doubt in the world by the end of this day that wireless technology does cause cancer, what could we really do about it? I mean, some individuals might choose to turn the wireless functions of their routers off. A few, you know, percent-wise may choose not to use cell phones, but really, we already depend on this technology a lot. I have a wealth of information at my fingertips right now. I always talk about, I might not talk about, I at least think about how stupid modern education is, because I can learn more with this than I could, you know, 30 years in school. But if I were to take wireless away right now, I would not have any of that information available to me. Now, me, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, because, you know, I could just walk downstairs and use that computer. Even then, it's not like I could understand all of the information available and put it to good use, but, you know, doctors, scientists, you know, it doesn't even have to be doctors, just any scientists, anybody who uses information, where information is critical to their jobs, obviously, yeah, they're going to need that information. And this wouldn't necessarily mean the internet would go away, it would just be a big step back. But yeah, we already have wireless devices in place. I've got, you know, wireless. That's not wireless, because it's pretty old. Again, I'm not relying on that for my life, but I mean, taking it all away almost wouldn't be an option. I mean, because, yeah, there are so many people who wireless, like, internet in remote places is just critical, absolutely critical. Not to mention, how many lives? Think about it. The world's not the safest place to be. How many lives do you think have been saved just by cell phones alone? You can come up with some scenarios in which cell phones could help. But, yeah. Now, the third issue, which is kind of the kicker, is non-users are affected. Yeah, even if you don't use cell phones and wireless computers, as long as the people around you are, you're still getting that radiation. When you're walking in the hallway at my school, there are wireless devices above you, and you know what you can do to not have that radiation going through you if you don't want it to? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. And this is the conspiracy part a little bit as well, where that's kind of scary for me that I can do absolutely I mean, some people might say, oh, well, you can switch schools. Yes, but think about it. In today's society, if I just, without making any changes to society, or without going against how society works, I could do absolutely nothing about that radiation, about the radiation here. As long as people around you are using cell phones, you're getting that radiation. And I don't think it's directional either. That's another thing I always think about. Like, sometimes I subconsciously point my phone away from me. I'm like, wait a second, I don't even know where the wireless card in this thing is, let alone how it works. I don't think it's directional. But yeah, non-users are certainly affected. So, that also, you know, there's the whole issue of, okay, if everybody, not just users, but everyone is affected by this, if there were ever to be negative effects, then everyone would be dead. Not just the users of the technology, everyone. Which is a really scary thing. Even though it's not likely, it's just something to think about. Is it really a good idea, like, yeah, to be involving so many people in this? Yeah, there's absolutely nothing you can do about that radiation, whether you like it or not. But what does all that mean? Well, we obviously can't say for sure that wireless technology hurts us right now. If we knew for sure wireless hurt us, we would not be using it in homes and whatnot, but we can't really say it doesn't hurt us either. I mean, it's not like you can use the process of elimination. Oh, well, we don't know that it hurts us, so it must not hurt. No, we have no idea if it hurts us or not. And that's one of those things, like I said, it's pure opinion. Do you think it's worth taking that risk? Here's the problem, though, that I didn't point out in school. It is completely opinion, if you think that that risk is worth it or not. But even if your opinion is that it is not worth it, you can do nothing about it. Because the people with the opinion of it's certainly worth it, they've already screwed you. They have already set up all of this wireless everywhere, all the time, and there's nothing you can do about it anymore. Yeah. I'm sorry. I said I was sick, but I didn't know getting sick actually affected my grammar. Wireless devices, yeah, are just so convenient. Some people would be willing to take the risk, but even if you don't want to, you still are every day. We don't know if this stuff is hurting us yet. The point to this, the conclusion I made was that we don't know if wireless hurts us or not, but you certainly cannot just assume that it's safe. Remember, just always remember, that that stuff could be hurting you. There's nothing you can do about it, but that stuff could be hurting you. I'm not sure what course of action I am supposed to recommend as a follow-up to that, which is why I just stuck with it's not presumed safe in the paper. But this is one of those things where, yeah, I've got my own YouTube channel. I get to go a step farther and say, yeah, what do you think? What would you do? What would anyone do if wireless was declared to hurt us? Because, yeah, it's integrated into our lifestyles. I could not imagine. I've only had my cell phone for a little over a year, and the amount of information I've been able to get from that, I use this thing all the time, and I've been begging to get wired internet up here, because, yeah, like I said, this stuff, that, and that back there, they don't have they don't have wireless cards. But, yeah, I am just so used to wireless, and a lot of people are too. So yeah, it's just one of those things I don't think anyone would really know what to do. So yeah, I guess that was the question I was starting to ask a couple of minutes ago before I was completely... My train of thought is like veering off the trails, tracks, rails. Obviously, I'm not in a fit state to be doing a video right now, but yeah, there are my sources. So yeah, don't forget to check out my website. Don't forget to check out my Life on Linux technology series and my Retrocraft entertainment series. And I'm Jacob Kaufman. I'm there on the street, and I will see you later. See ya. Hey guys, like I said, I don't usually use sources on these, so I wanted to take the chance to add in a couple of things that I forgot while I was recording the video. First of all, I'm sure somebody's going to bring up the point that older cell phones emitted more radiation than newer ones do, which is easily, understandable how someone would think that, because, older phones, they don't have the compression technology and whatnot. However, newer phones are just about negating that, because not only do they send voice, but they also send tons and tons of data, and that data actually uses a whole lot more radio waves to send than just voice does. I wanted to just attract you to a law that I don't know what it's called. You can look it up. I promise I'm not making it up, but it is in my paper. Maybe I'll publish that on my website. But yeah, the law basically says that it's illegal for local governments and groups to consider health effects of wireless technology when they're thinking about placement for cell phone towers. So yeah, I just won't even say anything about that right now, just something to think about. As long as I make absolutely no sense when I'm filming these, as long as I say enough smart words that I can string together to look like I made sense, then I can make it into a video.